Well, so the new administration at the NNPC under Mele Kyari has conducted the first crude for fuel contracts. 35 companies were announced over the weekend as the companies that would do that for the country over the next 12 months. That was 2019-2020 contracts. The 35 companies came under 15 groupings. So that's the news out there. But the big story here is this is one very important part of the NNPC's business, making sure Nigeria gets much needed petrol products for the country. But this is coming first under Mele Kyari, who took office on about July the 8th. Just about a little over a month, and he says he will run the NNPC, the State Oil Corporation, as transparently as possible as a publicly owned company. So let's talk to one of our guests in our studios in Abuja. Let's talk to Dr. Timothy Okon, who is a petroleum economist and a fiscal expert. He's also the managing director at Tenor Energy. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Doctor. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you. NNPC is the State Oil Corporation, but when we talk about the NNPC, why do you think transparency is important in how the affairs of this organization is run?
I think the basis for which NNPC was established, in which it acts both as an oil company and also as an agent of the federal government, it's important that it communicates what it does in the public domain. And secondly, it's important to do that simply because it removes things from the realm of speculation and sort of ill-informed discussions around what actually takes place. So this is welcome, and it's important that public companies are able to reach out to the people of this country and to demonstrate some measure of accountability, yes.
Okay, speaking specifically to the crude for fuel contracts, what's your take on this process? It happens every year anyway.
Well, yes, I think, well, you look at these arrangements, I think what they call the direct sale and direct purchase arrangement, these are interim measures. Of course, it's interim in the sense that Nigeria needs to ultimately refine its crude here at home, or establish other options in which it can directly either own a refinery abroad and then refine its products. So, but these are interim measures. It's important, of course, because of course a nation such as Nigeria, with refining capacity that is largely not working optimally, that this be seen purely in those terms. It's interim, and ultimately we need to get the refineries working, and there is private sector investment in terms of the Dangote refinery, which if it comes on stream, Nigeria should be able to have a robust production of petroleum products for the country.
Why is transparency, Dr. Oko, why is transparency important in this process of crude for fuel? According to the NNPC, the bidders and the winners of this round are expected to deliver corresponding petroleum products of equivalent value to the NNPC.
Yes. Okay, I think two things. First, the process of crude, product importation has been subject to quite a lot of innuendos and things that may have happened in the past. So I think this value for value transaction is important. And if you look at the criteria which was established, it enables the Nigerian public to see whether the criteria established has actually been matched in terms of the 15 consortium that have now won the contract. Remember, there were three basic criteria. First, you had to be an owner of a refinery internationally, non-refinery. Then two, a global trading company with significant turnover. And thirdly, if you were in the indigenous category, you needed to have a specified turnover. So those criteria had been set, and it is now, and it was revealed to the public. So this would enable commentators, such as yourselves, to see whether they have adhered strictly to those conditions. So I think this is important, and it removes innuendos and speculations and things like that from being a part of the discourse, and people can actually discuss whether those criteria have been met.
You've seen this process over the years, Dr. Okon, I'm sure. So what's your take on this process, and do you think anything is changing or will change moving forward, at least under the new administration at the NNPC, Mele Kyari's administration, that is?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think it's for the Nigerian people to judge by what has now been published. I think, but clearly, yes, there is a demand in the country for better performance, and public officials, I used to be one, are required to demonstrate that they are working in the best interest of the country. And I think this will continue in this the new dispensation that we have. And of course, the GMD's background also matters. He's been in the oil trading business, so I think that would bring some experience into the mix. And I welcome this, but again, it's an interim. The DSDP is an interim measure. In the medium term, there are more things that need to be done, and if I were to prefer advice, I would say that we focus on the medium-term strategy. It's an annual event, but we need to sort out our refineries, and then in the interim also, you could refine actually at refineries abroad while you are in the process of upgrading the refineries, etc. Yeah.
So what's the best advice you will give on how to sort out our refineries?
I think this is probably the best advice would actually be communicated among professionals. So I would simply say that there are three aspects to it. The first is regulatory reform, which essentially has to do with pricing. Then there is commercial, and then finally there is a structural reform that is needed. But I would give my advice privately to the GMD. Yeah.
So what will you be giving? What will you be telling him privately? Yeah, you were once a public official.
Well, I said
yourself.
so. The three things. We can't discuss technical details here. But I'm saying that there is a regulatory and pricing option that needs to be adopted, and that basically is in deregulation, because you need to have not only state-owned refineries but private-owned refineries to meet the country's energy security. Then there is a commercial framework that is important. I think the Dangote refinery has special incentives and that should apply to all refineries and refiners. So we have fiscal rules of general application to all investors. And thirdly, the structure of the current refinery, especially ownership structure, has to be also addressed to improve performance, etc.
Great. So the new NNPC GMD, Mele Kyari, says it will open the oil corporation's books to public scrutiny because he believes that this is a publicly owned company and it should be run as such. What books do you think he's referring to? If you are to run the NNPC, what books will you be opening up to the public as far as the NNPC affairs are concerned?
Well, I think in the last couple of years, I think NNPC has published its financial statements, and it does so, I think, on a monthly basis. I think those will continue. There are also audited financial reports that should also be made available. There is a process to do that, actually. It's, these have to be presented to the National Assembly through the presidency, actually. If you look at, so these things are done according to the relevant laws. So those audited financial statements, etc. So I expect that those will be done, but it's strictly according to the provisions of the law.
Yes, the laws are there, but I'm not sure if NNPC's financial statements had ever been delivered to the National Assembly since 1999 to date and published. Dr. Okon?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, yes. My question was, since 1999 to date, I said the law you mentioned is there, but we haven't seen NNPC's financial statement publicly delivered.
Well, those are available. The NNPC Act of 1977 has a process by which the accounts are to be published. Remember, they have to go through the presidency and be done. So I think those are available and they can be published with the appropriate permissions, yeah.
Mm. Would you like to see NNPC books of accounts publicly published?
Why not? I think I agree with that. It's run through taxpayers' money, and therefore it should be subject to taxpayers reviewing the financial performance, yes.
A final one. What's your general outlook on Mele Kyari's administration incoming now at the NNPC? What would you like to see done differently?
I think you want me to make a comment that should be made privately. My take on this is simply put, we face a big challenge, and the job of DMD is often...
Dr. Okon, very quickly,
yes?
I apologize, we need to wrap up this conversation. We're now going on a live event. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, is about to make his opening remarks and speech at the presidential ministerial retreat, which is due to happen right now in Abuja. We need to go live to that event here on Channels Television. President Muhammadu Buhari, please.